Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me today on another episode of Muppet Fans Talking. I'm your host, Marcelo Bataro, and today, another awesome interview with another good friend of mine in the magical world of Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, if he has it. I am talking to my good friend, Mr. TJ Schubert. I hope I am pronouncing that right. He is the creator of the Toppets on YouTube with Spike the Chupacabra, Uncle Chippy, Vincent, and just a whole bunch of characters. You know what? This guy will basically give you the whole life story of the Toppets and how they all came about. But TJ, thank you so much for joining me today on another episode of Muppet Fans Talking.
Well, thank you. Thanks for inviting me. This is awesome. I love your show. I would listen to every podcast, and you have a lot of creative people that come on, and a whole bunch of cool stuff you guys talk about with the Muppets and just how people get involved in puppetry and stuff. I think it's incredible.
Oh yeah, I mean, since the pandemic and prior of this recording, I just thought it was a fun idea just to sit down with some friends, do like a fun podcast audio show, and just know about their background and how they got started. And by far, this has been the most fun that I've done. And I've met so many incredible people over the years. And you know what? Enough rambling on me. Let's just jump straight into it with the interview with my good friend TJ. So, the first question that I got for you, because you are working on a lot of new things with your puppet group, what are you currently working on right now that you can share?
We're working on a lot of. Well, I can share some of them. We're working on some animated series right now, doing some original cartoons with brand new characters and some other characters that you may know from the Toppet show. They might get their own cartoon series too, like Spike. There's multiple with Spike, has multiple cartoons coming. We have some spin-off series. We were working on a movie, but some things happened with that, so that's on the pause right now. So we're hoping to bring that back up next year. But a lot of cool stuff on our YouTube channel, some new YouTube series. I'm really excited. I'm working on so many different projects right now, so it's crazy. My team is working so hard, and we're doing a whole bunch of cool stuff. I'm excited for you guys to see what we're making.
Yeah, you guys are this is basically like the Toppet Network, where you guys have a whole bunch of new shows and stuff. Oh, that's awesome.
A lot of fun stuff.
No, that's awesome, man. And it's pretty cool that I can share this. I was actually involved in one episode with the Toppets. I got to play one of your characters.
Yeah, you play Vincent on the Toppet show, on the Toppet universe. You play that character.
Yeah, and it was a fun thing to do. Plus, getting to play a character that is not created by me, created by someone else. It's always a lot of fun to do. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what you and the rest of your team have going on with the Toppets, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think Vincent's a great character, and you're doing so well with Vincent. I know he just made one episode, but people talk about him so much, like how calm and how put together he is, and we're very excited. We're working on some scripts for him right now, so we work on scripts. We have 10 scripts ready, so we're working on those before we work on new ones. So Vincent's not really in any of those scripts right now. So I might just shove them into a script and see what happens. I hope everybody on the Toppet team is okay with that if I shove them into an episode or two.
Well, and prior of this recording, if they ever listen to this particular episode, I'm pretty sure they're going to go, you know what? Yeah, that was actually the right move to go on to.
Exactly.
All right. So now we're going to go way back to your earliest puppet memory and how you got started in puppetry.
Okay, well, it goes way back. This is like freshman year in high school, and I graduated graduated not a long time, a couple months ago. And so it was my freshman year of high school, and I was that shy kid. I was the kid that nobody remembers from school. Now everybody remembers me, but I was that shy kid, and I was good at drawing. If you want a Scooby-Doo drawing or Yogi Bear, I was the guy that made the accurate Scooby-Doo and that kind of stuff. I actually have a painting right here of Scooby-Doo. I don't know if you can see in the podcast. I know this will be recorded, but this is a painting I did a long time ago.
Whoa.
Yeah. Maybe I can send you a picture. Maybe you can look if the viewers care about it or whatever. But that's what I was known for. I was known for making very accurate cartoon characters. And I can do impressions. I did impressions. I was known for that. But so I was in art. The art teacher came up to me. She's like, "Hey, you made this very cool Winnie the Pooh bookshelf. I was wondering if you can make a puppet for art team." And so in art team, you go around different cities and you bring your art piece and people judge your art piece and stuff. And you're like, we're gonna, as a team, get your school to go to state. And this theme this year was like sci-fi, and in the sculpting category, but the sculptor had to make a puppet, and none of her students know how to make a puppet, and she expected me. I wouldn't know how to make a puppet because I know how to draw Mickey Mouse. So she expected me. Oh, you're supposed to know how to make a puppet, right? You can do voices, and you want to draw Mickey. You can do puppet. And she just threw it at me. I'm like a freshman. This is like my third month in this school, and I don't know what's going on. She's like, "Yeah, make a puppet. Yeah, here you go."
Oh yeah, this kid knows how. Yeah, this kid knows how to draw. This kid knows how to draw, do voices. I'm pretty sure he knows how to build a puppet, right? Like, I don't know how to do that yet. I don't know how to do that at all.
The whole day, I'm just doing research. I'm like, Pinocchio. That's what the first puppet came to my head was Pinocchio. And I'm like, I want to make a. I just looked up Pinocchio. I just looked up puppets, and the first thing came up was Big Bird and Pinocchio. So I'm like, all puppets are strings, right? You just operate strings. That is not how it works, right? And I took some clay, some metal, some pieces of wood, and I made this creature. He kind of reminds me of a Sketsky from the Dark Crystal, if you know what those things are.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks like Big Bird, and he's a mutated, creepy creature. And I named him T-Jar, named him after Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars, and myself. And he was really cool, and he was like a little marionette, and he was fantastic. And we took him to the competition, and I won. There was so many cool puppets people made. There was like these Muppet style puppets, really detailed, to stop motion puppets, to marionettes, and I did a marionette, and it was very crappy, but I won. And then I went to state, and I won state with him. And my art teacher told me, "You're going to be rich doing this in the future. You're going to make some money. You're stuck as a puppeteer forever." And I'm like, "Oh, no. I want to be an animator. I want to do kids' books or something. I want to do something with drawing. That's not who I am." And he's just like, "Your grade in school now, in art, is to make puppets. That's what you got to do. That's your whole grade in art. You're not going to be drawing anymore. You're not going to be painting. Got to make puppets. That's your grade." And I hated it. So I made so many crappy marionettes. I made a tap dancing penguin, a country dancing frog, a spiky version of T-Jar, like a gray spiky version. I don't know. I just love spikes, like monster with spikes on it. I just love. And so I made a bunch of these, and I'm like, yeah, these are okay. And so we put T-Jar on display in our school, and he got destroyed.
Oh.
Somebody knocked him over on accident.
Oh, okay.
And I was so sad. This was my first puppets, and I kind of grew to loving puppetry a little bit. And I was so sad. I went home, and I'm like, I want to make another character. I want to do something with this. I had plans to make a sci-fi dinosaur Star Trek kind of show with T-Jar. Back in my head, I was planning it all out. I went home and I'm like, I want to use the name Toppets, and I want to use some characters, and I want to make a show. The Toppets was my idea in my head was the crew name, like A-Team. You ever seen A-Team or Star Trek? News, like that was the name of the group, and the Toppets were standing for different dinosaurs. So T-Rex, pterodactyl, all those different dinosaurs. So it wasn't a Muppet thing. So people think it's a Muppet knockoff, but Toppets is another thing that I just used, and I just carried over to the Toppet show. But I was really sad about T-Jar. I went home. The Muppet movie, I forgot what movie it was playing on TV, and my mom threw me this black sock. I took that black sock and I put it over my hand, and I looked at Kermit, and I got the idea of a dinosaur. Because T-Jar was kind of like a dinosaur. I'm like, he's going to be a space dinosaur. And I can still carry on the Toppets space team. So I went to school and I made this dinosaur. But I didn't make a tail because I was too lazy to make a tail. And I was too lazy to add fingers. So this new character was a noodly, spiky, fanged creature. I named him Drax. Drax the dinosaur. But nobody liked the name Drax. Or the dinosaur part. So I'm like, he is Spike the whatever. And a couple months later, it came to Spike the Chupacabra. And this was my first puppet, Muppet-style puppet. He was made out of a sock, some spoons, some cardboard, and some red fabric. And that was the first Spike. And a couple months later, I made Big Red, Swampy, Wildcat, and then I just balled from there, and I just came up with the Toppet show and some other Toppet content out of that too. So I just made a sock, and that's how it pretty much got started.
And from that, and as the saying goes, the rest is history. So
it all started with the Chupacabra, people say.
Yeah, I mean, when I first came across the name The Toppet Show, some part of me went, okay, this is obviously, another small puppet group on the internet that may or may not be a Muppet knockoff, as, there's a lot of videos out there nowadays that, are puppet groups, but, some of them have their own original ideas. Some of them are trying to obviously either pay homage to the Muppet Show or just be another Muppet Show, which that's a whole other discussion we'll get later down the line if we have time. But when I saw your stuff, I thought, okay, I never saw this kind of spiky looking lizard type character. And I say lizard type character because, with the head design of Kermit and Spike, they do have a certain lizard appearance to them. But when I saw that the name of your character was Spike the Chupacabra, I thought, okay, I have rarely seen the actual look of the Chupacabra, and when I saw yours, I thought, you know what? This is exactly what I would picture a Chupacabra to look like.
Yeah, he was not planning to be a Chupacabra. He was planning to be a dinosaur, but I was too lazy. I did not know what kind of dinosaur. There was like, is there a dinosaur with spikes without a tail? There's not. So I'm like, oh, what do I do? And I just looked up online, gray spiky monster, and the first thing came up was El Chupacabra. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Oh yeah. So with the name, the Toppets that you had rattling around your head at that time, that idea was originally supposed to be, all your characters were originally supposed to be all dinosaurs?
Yeah, it was going to be all dinosaurs, and there's trying to be like some space superheroes fighting crime. But I love the name the Toppets so much, so I just moved that over to Spike and Friends. But it wasn't stand for to be like a knockoff of Muppets. It was trying to be like key and then point, O, point, P, point. It was trying to be, and then it was trying to be a whole thing. And then but it kind of looks like a puppet if you just take out the P and the U and just put a T and an O. So I kind of see why people think it's a knockoff Muppet. But yeah.
Well, I gotta say, just when I first saw your stuff, I believe it was on TikTok. It was on TikTok a few years ago, way before we got connected on Instagram and YouTube and all that jazz. Your stuff really does have a good sense of originality, as it should be. If for those listening, if you're planning to do like a puppet group of any kind, originality is definitely the main way to go. But many of them, they have heavy inspiration from the Muppets, which is cool.
Yeah, I don't see a problem. Only problem I have, there's so many sitcoms, there's so many sci-fi shows. So I'm thinking they can have variety shows with puppets. I don't see a problem with that. I don't think Jim Henson is like, well, this is going to be the only variety show with puppets, nobody else. If you're going to do a variety show with puppets, make it your own. Have some new segments. Have some. I try to. We don't do really music numbers on the Toppets show because that's the Muppets thing. Toppets. We do fart jokes, and we don't really do fart jokes, but we do like the humor, like that. We pick on one another. It's like a family kind of like. It's more of we try to stay away from the music and try to stay from all that stuff because we want to do more educational. We want you to feel good after our episode. We want you to think about what you just learned in that episode and stuff. That's what we try to do.
I definitely see that. I definitely see that after seeing some of your videos in the very beginning, and quite frankly, I've met a lot of people that have their own little puppet groups, and they have their own twist to it, and you are definitely within that category. So I'm really happy with the road that you and the Toppets are going down on.
Thank you. We work very hard. That's why it takes forever for a new episode to come out.
Oh yeah, of course.
20 different versions of scripts. We want to pick the right one for what's going on in the time right now. And yeah, so we work very hard, and we try. We tried.
Of course. Now, hearing a little bit about Spike's backstory,
yes.
What were the backstories to some of the other characters that you created for the Toppets?
Like their character backstory, or like how I created them, like.
Oh yes.
Set in like their universe, or.
Oh no, yes. Like, how did you create the other characters that are on the Toppet show?
Okay, so Big Red was planned to be a cat, a giant red cat, and I painted the ears wrong. I only had white paint, so I just painted white horns on him, and I called him a giant red monster. He was literally a blanket. I had this blanket, and I hated it. I'm like, this is gonna be a cool puppet, and I just took apart this blanket, and I took out like a foam kickball, and I made Big Red, and he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And Swampy was a foam kickball, some ping pong balls, and just some rubber fabric I found, and like the dollar bin of Joanne's or something. Like, he's gonna be a cool swampy creature. I was just throwing things together. I'm like, cool. I just need a grade. Just I'll make you a puppet teacher, and you just grade them. And yeah, those are the ones that come up to my head. Do you have any questions about other one, like how did I create Uncle Chippy, or those characters at all?
No, yeah. If you could share, that, that'd be cool. Because I always love hearing about, how you went about creating these puppets, and then how their whole characterization came about after that.
So I'll go with the Swampy first.
All right.
I take every new character. So I put Spike on a pedestal, and then when I get a new character, I'm like, what's the opposite of Spike? What makes Spike different from other puppets? And so I'm like, Swampy. He's negative, but he's sour, but he's sweet too. And he doesn't want anybody to know he's sweet. So he's shy. So that's Swampy. He's in Spike's shadow. He was the second character, but he's in Spike's shadow all the time. And that's Swampy. He's I made him a crafty Swampy. I'm getting a new Swampy soon. I'm getting him custom made right now.
Oh,
it's
wow.
really cool. So I'm excited for him to come on the Toppets show because we have a lot of cool scripts with him. A lot of cool like outside stuff, like him climbing trees and going in the river and stuff. But Swampy is just pretty much the opposite of Spike. And but what else do you want to hear about? I have so many characters.
Well, for the purpose of this podcast, I mean, you mentioned Swampy, you mentioned Big Red. To wrap up this segment of the questions and then move on, how about we learn about Uncle Chippy?
Uncle Chippy.
Yeah.
I purchased him on Etsy.
Oh.
From a puppet builder. She's really talented. I wish I had like her information. She's so great. And so I was planning his character out. I'm like, he's gonna love money. He's gonna be like Mr. Krabs. He's gonna be cranky. He's gonna be so negative, and that's gonna be his character. And I'm like, his name was planned to be Mr. Oz, named after Frank Oz. I love Frank. He's awesome. Great puppeteer, great director.
Wow.
So his name was planned to be Mr. Oz. And then he came I opened the package, and this little sweet little red monster just came out, and I'm like, he can't be a negative guy. And so I'm like, he's gonna do commercials. He's gonna make fake, funny commercials. And he's gonna be the most sweetest thing ever. And he's Uncle Chippy. I'm like, he has a chipped tooth. I'm like, he has a chipped tooth. And he could be an uncle because he has a tie. He can be an uncle. And that was Uncle Chippy, just the sweetest thing. Yeah. I don't buy usually my characters. I usually make them all. But sometimes if I'm on eBay and I see it one I like, kind of go for it.
That's awesome, man. And plus, I remember I did the Q&A segment with Uncle Chippy, and just seeing the video, I was just like, man, this has to, man. If this was my uncle, I'd invite him over to every family event ever. He is that sweet of a character.
He's actually based on some real people in my life, and I try to base my characters from real people in my life because we have seen so many different Kermits, so many different Bugs Bunny knockoffs. I'm like, I'm gonna knock off a real person. I'm gonna see if they notice, if they watch my shows and stuff. So he's based from like a whole bunch of my family members and some family friends, and he's Jewish. That's a fun fact about Uncle Chippy. He's from Alabama and he's Jewish. And he's awesome. I love him.
That is really cool, man. Especially, you know what, you actually segued into the next topic, which is about creating characters. And what you just mentioned is really a good topic on basing certain characters off of real people in your life. You know?
Yeah.
And for many performers and puppeteers, whenever they create characters, they usually find the essence of those particular characters either from the actual physical puppet, like the outside description, or they base it off of, family members or people that they see on the street, that sort of thing. And it's always a fun process to do that. So allow me to ask, whenever you're creating new characters, uh, how do you find which person in your life you plan to base that character on, or if when you're creating new characters and have the overall idea of who he or she is, how do you try to incorporate that? Like real people that in your life that can become part of those characters.
So there's three of them. I know I mentioned about family members or some of the topic characters, but I go as the first is parts of me, parts of my hobbies and stuff, and then I go to family members, and then I go to characters I see in TV or movies. That's like that last option.
Right.
But so Swampy is part of me, my little jealous side. Spike is my go-getter, get it done side. Big Red's my loudmouth, crazy side. Scrappy's my childhood innocence. Grim is my nerdy, fun fact guy, parts of me. And then those are like parts of me that I gotta stitch back in. I know what Dave Gold said in an interview, like, there's just these characters are popping out, and I just gotta stitch them back in. That's what those characters are. They're just coming out. There's just parts of me. And then I go to like family members. And some Big Red is based on my uncle, and Uncle Chippy's based on a family friend, and some other family members, and my brother's, he's based on Weasel. Like, when I made Weasel, he's pretty much my brother. Reagan the Anteater is a friend of mine. I named her I named Reagan. That's my friend's name. She does some of the puppetry in the show, and I named a puppet after her. I named her Reagan the Anteater and all that. And then I go to movie characters. I need to look at the character right next to me. Like Snog, I can. He's a knockoff Beaker. He really is. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I do. He's the only one I ripped off in the Muppets. Gizmo. A little bit of Voltron, not Voltron. Vision. That's his name. Gizmo's a little bit of Vision from the Marvel movies. Sparky, Rocky Raccoon from the Marvel movies. But that's some of them. I kind of watch a lot of movies with those characters, or I spend time with those family members and stuff, and trying to figure out their mannerisms and speech patterns. Or I just figure out things that I like Reggie. He's my improv side, so I'm just going at it. It's just me just improving with the puppet. That's pretty much all Reggie is. So I just figure out what the character, figure out what you like, and put that into the puppet. Or the fun thing I like to do is put the things I hate. Like I don't like Skittles. That's a fun fact. I don't like Skittles. And so I put that into Spike. And so I'm like, that's like his thing. That's what he craves. That's what makes Spike different from me. So people, when I meet people in real life, if I meet you in real life, don't give me Skittles, okay? Please don't give me any Skittles in real life. I know I've been to so many different events. I just get tons and tons of Skittles, and they just sit in my corner of my room, and I don't eat them at all. I'm sorry, folks. Just give me Sweet Tarts or M&Ms or something like that. Don't give me Skittles.
You know what? If we ever meet in person, I will show up with a truck full of Skittles, just so I could see your reaction.
My reaction would be like, no. And Spike be like, oh my gosh, Skittles!
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Because I remember seeing those videos of Spike just loving Skittles so much, and I thought, wow, TJ must really love Skittles. And now just hearing this, it is the funniest thing I've ever heard. It really is, and I mean that in a fun, loving way. It is, wow.
Yeah, I try to put things that I don't like into characters, or things that I do like into characters. Like, Grimm loves Marvel movies, and I love Marvel movies, so that's like, I can really get into Grimm in his performance sometimes. So he's so nerdy. I hope that makes sense.
No,
How I get into characters, and how I make characters and stuff.
No, it does. It does. And plus, your best answer will always be, the best answer, because for many other performers, they have different points of view on how they create their own characters, and it may not work for others. It works for you, but it may not work for other people. But just you sharing your process is the best, and it does work for you. So, you answered it the most best, clear way possible.
Awesome.
So now we're going to get into the topic on Muppets prior of this episode being called Muppet Fans Talking. We're going to talk about some of your favorite Muppets and how they inspired you. So, yeah. So we got here, which Muppet do you connect with the most? And favorite Muppet moments. So we're going to start with which Muppet do you connect with the most?
So there's three. You're probably wondering, you probably just want one, but I'm going to give you three because...
Go ahead.
In a group setting, I'm the Gonzo. I'm the let's do something weird. But if I'm filming for the Toppets show or working on one of my projects or whatever, I am the Kermit the Frog. I am, let's get things done. Let's go. Let's put on a show. And everything has to be perfect. But if I'm in a family, if I'm with very close friends, I am the Ralph the dog. I'm like, let's just do it, let's just take our time. Let's play some music, let's just chill. I'm one of those three. But I'm pretty much a Kermit. I love Kermit.
Yeah. No, and that's, and those three characters, that truly defines your personal character. Because, you come up with a whole bunch of these weird ideas, and I say that in a good way, and you truly do want to get these things done. You want to make sure that they're done right, which is totally understandable. And at the same time, just go with the flow. Go with the flow, no tensions, no anything like that. Let's just have fun and just get it done. And I like that.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well,
I really like that answer. So, now let's see where we are here. Okay, we're gonna segue out of Muppets for a second, and this is actually a question on favorite puppet characters. Now, this one, I love having this question on here because, we all, of course, being that we all grew up with the Muppets and they've inspired us to go out and create our own puppet content, there's always that one other puppet character that's not a Muppet that we've seen on TV. And so if you could pick one puppet from a different show that is your personal favorite, which one would that be?
Okay. Oh, that's so, you said do one. I got like two. Just came to my head first.
No, you know what? Just go ahead.
But,
go ahead. You don't have to follow my protocol.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Alf. ALF.
Yeah. Okay.
The alien elf, and then I'm gonna go Slimy. Slimy the lizard. If you know Slimy from YouTube, Alex, I believe.
Yes, yes,
Slimy.
yes. I do know which character you're talking about.
Is it a salamander? I don't know. I just love Slimy. I'm a huge fan of Slimy.
When I met Alex in Toronto, he did tell me that his character is a salamander.
Okay. He's kind of like the first like puppet YouTuber I watch, and I just love like his like specials, holiday specials. I watch it every year. His Christmas special. I don't think he does them anymore, but I still go back and I rewatch them. I just love his short videos he made, and he really helped. His videos really helped me to get into the puppetry world, how to think about how puppets work. Like, he was the first like puppeteer I watched, and then it was like Sammy and Greg and his friends, and then it might be yours. I remember watching yours when I was super young, your videos, but it was Slimy. I watch very religiously.
Those are really good answers. Those are really good answers. So the first two puppets that are not Muppets that come to your head are an alien and a salamander. That's a good one. I love that.
Thank you.
So right before we start wrapping up, because of course time is short.
Yes.
Let's see where we are here. Okay, so I asked you about this, I asked you about that, I asked you about this. Okay, here we go. So now that you got started creating your own content, and of course you're starting at the bottom and slowly working your way up to the top, as many of us should. And of course, like anyone, I assume there have been some ups and downs where, things were going good, but then somewhere around the line, things were not going your way, but you managed to pick yourself back up. Is there any advice that you can give to anyone listening about, starting off in puppetry and what they could do to perfect their skills? So, if anyone at a young age, they see this and, it'd be like a hobby in the beginning, but later down the line, they'd want to pursue this as a career, but they're starting at the very, very bottom. What's the best advice that you can give to anyone out there that wants to hopefully pursue this later down the line?
Well, my only advice is to grab your friends and just make some great stuff. Because you can't make a show by yourself, and you need people. It takes a village to make a show, and make some fun stuff. That's what I did, and I'm having fun. It's not work. It's just us playing with a camera and some puppets and some scripts. So just grab some puppets and grab some of your friends and make some shows. I hope that worked though.
Yeah,
I hope that answered the question.
That's a good answer. That surround yourself with a group of friends that you want to have fun and film some fun videos. But then later down the line, if this stuff goes well and you all make a good living off it, just stick to it and don't ever give up.
Yeah, I see a lot of puppet YouTubers and puppet content, people that do puppets on TikTok and stuff, are trying to make content. They try to do it all by themselves. They have one vision, that's it. But I think if you surround people with other people, they have different visions, what they think the show should go, and just let it happen. Just let your friends help you out and guide you. My vision was like, is this going to be very serious? The topic's going to be serious, and then I'm like, let's just have fun. Let's just let's just do it. Let's take everybody's advice and just go for it. I'm just taking a chapter out of Jim Henson and just chilling, just chill, and let things just happen with your friends. Just make some cool stuff. Let's just change the world. With some puppets.
Yeah, and hey, puppets can bring people together, and that's the
They do.
that's the way I see it. So right before we wrap up, there's two more things I gotta ask you, and the first one is, what goals do you see yourself achieving now, and hopefully within the near future with your work?
My goal. Can you repeat that again, please?
What goals do you see yourself achieving as of right now, and what you hope to achieve within the near future?
It's maybe like to work for the Jim Henson Company, be a builder or a script writer of some kind, or even a puppeteer. That's the goal, is to work for the Jim Henson Company or any film studio in that case. Or in the long future is I'm having to have fun with puppets and get paid to do it. That's the long-term goal, is to have fun with puppetry. And try to get something new to it. Cause I love puppetry, but I want to see what it can go to. I want to push it to the limit and make some weird stuff. That's my goal.
No, yeah, I respect that. I totally respect that. And again, I wish you all the best with the Toppets and any future projects that you're working on outside of Toppets. I'm wishing you all the best, because you are a talented builder, you are a talented performer, and I'm very, very honored to know you within this community.
Well, thank you. You too, man. You do. I just love your stuff. Your video you just posted the other day with the lights stuff. Loved it. And I just love I love the podcast. I love your TikToks, everything, your Instagram posts, and you're a fantastic puppeteer too, man. You're a great comedian, voice actor. You're just top of the line, a great person.
I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. And right before we wrap up this episode, and I love asking all my friends this because I have had these moments. In topic with the Muppets, what is your all-time favorite Muppet moment?
Favorite Muppet moment? I'm going to go with the opening scene of Rainbow, or like the Muppet movie with Rainbow Connection. Because for me, people say the song is about rainbows. It's just rainbows. But I think it's a person changing and trying to find the new person he's going to be or she's going to be. That's what I see Rainbow Connection as. It is a person trying to find who they really are, trying to find that voice. That's what I think Rainbow Connection is, and that's what's so meaningful to the song and the puppetry in that moment, and it's great. I love singing that song. I sing that a lot when I do live events with Spike. But I think it's great. It gets you warmed up for the Muppet movie. It's a great clip, great singing from Jim, and that's my favorite moment,
Oh, that really does sum it up, man. That really does sum it up. And so, with that, we reach the end of another great episode. But before we go, I'd like to thank my friend TJ Schubert for joining me today on this new episode of Muppet Fans Talking. You guys can definitely find his stuff of the Toppets on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, of course. And TJ, if you'd like to add anything else, but right before we leave.
Just follow my YouTube channel. We have a whole bunch of cool stuff and a lot of exciting projects on my YouTube channel. That's what I really care about. If you guys check my YouTube channel out, we're going to hit 120 subscribers by tonight, I believe. So that's really cool. I want to get to 200 by the end of the year. That's my goal.
Definitely keep setting up on those goals on what you want to achieve, because you keep working hard for it, as anyone should. Good things will happen.
Exactly. If you just sit around and you have like these goals and you just sit around, what's the point of having goals? You gotta work for it. It doesn't just come magically like in a Disney movie.
Exactly.
You gotta work hard.
Exactly right. Well, TJ, thank you so much for being another special guest on my podcast, Muppet Fans Talking. It was wonderful getting a chance to talk to you, man.
Thank you. This was like pretty much Toppet guys talking more than Muppet guys talking.
Hey, don't steal. Hey, you could come up with your own podcast. Just don't steal the name. I'm borrowing this name because this is about the Muppet fans. You understand me?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right. Well, TJ, again, thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you all so much for listening. And we'll see you next time on Muppet Fans Talking.